Ladies and gentlemen, this is the second half of our massive dead double bill or double bill of the dead, depending on how you want to phrase it. This one is Dawn of the Dead. Coincidentally, what we did was we saved the best for last. Because you were watching the whole show, so you know that we literally said this is one of the best zombie movies of all time, and it is. But let's get started. Directed by some guy, I think his name is Zack Snyder.
Yep.
Screenplay is written by another guy who, James Gunn with two N's. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that guy, but you could totally tell that alone raises the script up in comparison to the first one. Because I'll say this, I like Zack Snyder. I'm a fan of his visual work. I think, like I said at the beginning, one of the most gifted cinematographers today.
Yep.
And has had this crazy vision almost since the beginning. There's just something that he's doing that sets him apart from other guys. He's not much of a story guy, though. He's not much of a screenplay writer type of thing. He's like, and this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and oh god damn it, he needs somebody to say, okay, but like in between these big huge things, we got to have like stuff in there, right? Like we got to have people sort of explaining and getting connections, and he's like, yeah, sure, whatever, and this happens, and then that happens, and then everybody dies because it's a zombie movie and nobody lives. So having a screenplay written by this James Gunn character, really, really good. Anyway, so the cast is Sarah Polley from Canadian fame, who was one of my first crushes growing up.
Me too.
Anne of Green Gables. I don't know how in our age group, any guy that wasn't at least had some sort of inkling, sexual awakening of some part, because we grew up with her, right? So she plays Anna Clark, who's a nurse, and I read that she took this role because this was actually a stronger female than what you'd normally find in movies like this. She's like, I wasn't a screaming damsel in distress. I actually had agency, and I was actually like a tough girl. So I was like, yes, I'll take this role. Then that's followed by another actor. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this guy, Ving Rhames.
Ving Rhames.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He plays Kenneth, the police officer.
Good name.
Good name. Very proud name. Very proud name. Yeah. I believe it loosely translates to handsome ogre.
Handsome ogre. And look at that. Yes. He kind of has that ogre appearance to him as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he does.
Fellow
I'm just kidding. We both know who Ving Rhames is. He's been in like a million. He's been in like the
Big
most.
Ving!
Every movie has got him in it. We just haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction on.
That's right. Oh yeah. Jack Weber is Michael Shaughnessy. TV salesman. Nothing special there. Mekhi Phifer is Thug Dad to Be. That's not what he's billed as, but that's what I wrote. Only because they had like Streetwise guy whose girlfriend is pregnant, and I was like, that's Streetwise. You didn't want to say thug. Wikipedia. Okay, we've got another guy, Ty Burrell. Early role for him as Steve Marcus.
Yep.
He's literally douche businessman. That's
he's the douche of this movie.
Yes, he's the douche all the way through.
Oh yeah.
The next guy, Michael Kelly, who is CJ, he's the head mall security guy. He starts off as a douchebag, but he starts to smarten up.
But you warm up to him. And he's got that fine handlebar mustache.
He starts to, he's also got hair similar to mine where it's thinning here.
Yeah.
But it's longer here.
So you should grow a handlebar.
If I could, I would. Okay. I've always joked about growing a mullet, but this is the closest I've ever been to a mullet. If I could grow a handlebar mustache with this look, like just look at this. It's borderline skullet material.
It is. If you just shave the sides right here, just around the ear.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, then we got Kevin Zegers as Terry, who's a junior mall cop.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got Michael Berry as Bart, Mall cop douche number 2.
Yep.
Lindy Booth as a young woman and Terry's eventual lady friend. She was billed as young woman. In Wikipedia, they put young woman and Terry's love interest is what
Really?
she was
Her
billed
name
as.
is Nicole. Like they say her name in the movie.
Oh no, sorry. Wait, hold on. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I know. And they do say their name, and I was like, I don't understand this. We've got Jane Eastwood, who's played a crotchety cigarette smoking old lady in every single movie I've ever seen her in.
Yep.
She's Norma, the truck driver. They made a point of saying the older truck driver. I didn't think that was necessary. Boyd Banks is I must not have. Yeah, Tucker. That's right. I did not write his name down because truck driver was there. Ina Korobkina is Luda, Andre's pregnant wife. Artie Reed is the church organist. Kim, this is my favorite one right here. They say her name. This is my favorite one. Kim Poirier. She's another Canadian actress.
Mm-hmm.
She's billed as sexy woman on Wikipedia. I read that line twice because I was like, wait, what? And then I watched the movie again and I'm like, she's got a fucking name.
Just sexy woman.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. Matt Frewer is Frank, Nicole's
love
dad.
Matt Frewer.
Who doesn't? Max Headroom.
Man, I love Matt Frewer. That guy is awesome.
We've got Louis Ferreira as Anna's husband.
Yep.
And Bruce Bone as Andy, the gun store owner.
Andy!
And that is it.
I love Andy.
So, yeah, right out of the gates, this movie starts off nice and slow, like most zombie movies do.
Yep.
You know, just kind of Anna's just doing her thing as a nurse. She gets home. You know, she's got a fairly happy life with her husband and her daughter.
You see a couple little things at the hospital first where you're like, oh, some shit's kind of going on around here.
Yeah, they give you little hints. Like she actually says at one point, like, oh, all from a bite? Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
But okay. Anyway, back.
See ya.
Off to my own day. And then, you know, the next day, for whatever reason, like the daughter gets it. And then because the daughter gets it, the husband gets it because he's like, and I forgot how much this movie really did those like small suspenseful chills as they built up to bigger ones. So when you see the daughter, you know she's a zombie.
Well, she's not even their daughter. She's a neighbor.
Oh, the neighbor. Sorry. Yes. And he's just like, what the fuck's going on? And you're just like, oh, yeah. No, don't do this. Don't do it. But I mean, in real life, you do the same thing because your first thought isn't everyone's a zombie.
Yeah. Yeah. I
right?
mean, she's a nurse, right? She sees the little girl all bloody and, oh my God, I got to help this kid.
Yeah. And then she has to fucking fight off her husband who wants more than what he got earlier.
Oh, yes.
And like, so the way the zombies, and this actually, one of the things I liked about this, Dawn of the Dead was one of the first times they had fast moving zombies.
Yeah.
This was one of the first times they had fast moving zombies. So I remember when I first watched this, I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Like they're fucking sprinting. If they had no legs, they're crawling, but they're literally walking like dudes that have no legs walk, where they just put them like on their hands and
just
stuff.
Go, yeah.
You know, or they're like climbing along the pipes and stuff. And you're just like, this is nuts. But it was crazy to see that. Because like in 28 Days Later, it's technically not a zombie movie because they're technically not zombies. They're just filled with rage.
Yes.
But that's like one of those, like, you really want to argue semantics, I'll give it to you, but it's a fucking zombie.
Yeah, it's a fucking zombie.
It's a fucking zombie movie. Like if they bite you in any way, do you turn into the same thing as them? Yeah, okay. If their blood interacts with you in any sort of way, like gets inside your body, do you change into it's a fucking zombie movie.
It's a zombie.
But they moved pretty fast in that movie. Now, which one came first? I think it was
28 Days.
It was 28 Days. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So I think 28 Days was the first time I saw fast moving zombies.
Then I have
they
to
weren't called, like you said, they weren't called zombies. Like,
but I have to amend that because yes, I watched 28 Days. I actually watched 28 Days with you, and yeah, I have to agree. That was the first time I saw fast moving zombies.
Yeah.
But at least in this one, they're full on, like they are zombies. They're rotting. They're falling apart. They are the stereotypical zombies, but they're moving like sons of bitches. So that's like, that ups the ante too.
Yeah.
Right. Because like when you watch Shaun of the Dead and they he goes into the store and it's like lumbering towards him. He goes in, gets his shit, like inadvertently dodges some other zombie just because he's moving at a normal speed. Then he comes back and the other zombie's like just getting to the door by the time he's in and out. And you're like, that is so funny that they make it seem like it's hard to get away from zombies, but he's strolling.
He's just
but so having said that though, yes, Shaun of the Dead is a movie we'll get to on this Camcast.
Oh, God,
don't you worry. So once you get to that part where you establish, okay, now the zombies, I always find it crazy how quickly zombies spread, right? Until, you just live through a pandemic and then you're like, oh yeah, no, it's because people are idiots.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're either idiots or they're selfish and they're just like, nah. Like if somebody was just like, hey man, don't go outside because of the zombies, they'd be like, you know what? It's my right to do whatever I want. So you know what? I'm going to go out. And it's like,
I'm fine.
But if you get bit, you can't come back in the house. So what's the first thing everybody does when they get bit? Pull their sleeve down, cover it up.
Yeah.
They go in the house and they go, hey, yeah, everything's fine. Like, really? You look like you're about to die. I feel great. The store was awesome. You want to get in close? Because I really want to hug you and then eat your brains. That's one thing I miss, though. They don't actually go for the brains anymore. They just eat you.
Yeah, they just eat you. It's not, yeah. Once they realize that there's so much more to the human body than just a brain.
Yeah.
It's a full feast there.
Was it Return of the Living Dead, where it was kind of a horror comedy?
Yeah.
And that's the one where they're like, those brains are just so spicy. You're like, yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, so yeah, like, I mean, I like how you even had people, like, even before Anna gets out of her house, like, she's just stepping out of her house, and her neighbor's just like, back the fuck up, because he's just like, I'm gonna fucking kill her, and she's like, no, don't, please,
Yeah. But, like, right off the bat, like, this is the first Zack Snyder. This is Zack Snyder's first film. He was doing what, commercials and music videos and shit before this?
Yep.
So, like, this movie right away, I'm getting a feel, like, I haven't really got a feel of the screenplay yet, but I can see, like, the big ideas, the cinematography in that opening, like, when she's driving away from that house and it goes from above and you see just hell breaking loose on this neighborhood, I was just like, this is one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen.
I'm actually going to give you like a flip side to it. So when she's driving home, there's an overhead shot too, and it's all just like brightly lit, and it's all just like your perfect like suburban area. So then, and it's all like really brightly lit, like this is happy, like everything, hey, yeah. And then when that starts happening, it starts to darken a little bit. And then when you get that overhead shot, it's the same exact shot.
Yep.
Now it's that dark flip where you're just like, holy fuck. And it's quick, like explosions and like people are getting hit.
Blood everywhere. And just
they're turning into zombies while they're driving. Like it's just insane. Like chaos is everywhere. Yeah. And it really does capture that sense of hopelessness because she's just trying to get somewhere safe. And everyone else is trying to do the same thing. And so like, even like she refuses the woman. The woman's like, you got to help me. And she's just like, no, and then you have that other dude, the male guy who's trying to actually get her vehicle, like get her out of that vehicle so he can steal it. And she's just like, fuck, like get out of here type of thing. And it's all just very real. And for his first movie, to visually set the stage so good and so quickly, it's just like I said, like every time I watch a Zack Snyder movie, they are visually arresting because like I will say, in my opinion, Sucker Punch is his worst movie. Absolutely worst movie. But it's visually incredible.
Oh, visuals, gorgeous.
Like
it's a movie that if it didn't look as good, I wouldn't ever want to rewatch it. But because it looks as good as it does, I want to watch it again.
Yeah, the only thing that holds me back is knowing that it's actually a really bad movie.
Yeah, there is that.
Like, even he tried to say, like, no, it's actually a critique on women in movies and video games, and it's like, no, I think you just didn't think you were gonna get shit on for it, and then when you did, you were like, what do I say? What do I say? Fuck.
Damn it.
I can't say that they looked hot in those skirts. Fuck. And because, like, they're talking, like, they're fairly young women in this movie. Like, it's a million years old now because we're also a million years, but still, that I would say is his first movie, but it's still visually arresting.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
to see, even in his first movie, the confidence that he has is fucking crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
It's nuts, man. Like, this movie, no matter, like, I could not watch this movie for 10 years and it would still be just as vivid in my mind as, like, right after watching it.
That's exactly what happened. I hadn't watched it until
everything
we
is
said this.
so just like everything. Like the neighbor chasing her while she's driving and he sees something and goes off, like,
no, it was her husband. Her husband was chasing
yeah, right. Her husband's chasing her.
And then as soon as he saw
right.
someone else that was an easier target, he just fucking veered. Like, it wasn't like stop, shift. It was just boom.
So, like, the energy and just like the suspense in that opening sequence. And then right after that, we go to that nice little, like, interview thing where the guy's talking, like, when there's no room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. You get Johnny Cash playing, he's showing, like, the world go to hell. I'm like, everything about this is fucking incredible.
Yeah, and also surprisingly topical.
Yeah.
You got some dude saying, like, this is God's wrath because of premarital sex, abortions, and gays, and you're just like, man, it's still a hot button. Every one of those are still hot button topics for a lot of places, like the United States.
Yeah.
And you're just like the movie itself in the original movie was a critique on consumerism, and that's why it was set in a mall. And even in this one, it's still a critique on consumerism because of the mall. Because even like they're like, why are they coming to the mall? And it's just like reflex, like they're just habit, like they don't know any better, so they just go to what they think they know, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the mall, and it's like, oh, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that opening montage was really cool too. Like, but once they get to the mall, it's the same thing. Like, it's just quiet, bit of suspense, bit of suspense. And I'm glad I rewatched it because I remember thinking about it, and I remember being bugged by the fact that the woman got brought in, and she looked like a zombie.
Yeah,
like a giant bite on her arm. She already looked like she was decomposing, and no one questions bringing her in. And my first thought was always like, why the fuck? But of course, you rewatch the movie and you're just like, oh yeah, that's right, because they weren't making the connections, because this is the first time it's ever happened. There's been no zombie movies or literature of any kind. So for them, it was just like they're trying to piece it out. So then they start because of her, they start to go, okay, well, she was bit. And then shortly after she was bit, this is what happened.
Yeah.
So we think we're pretty sure that the bite is the cause of it. But even then, like, this is what, almost 15 years old, and it's still visually incredible with the special effects.
Oh, it has aged so well.
But it's also a fairly high budget practical effects, though.
Yeah, and it's amazing that Universal gave Snyder that kind of cash. Like,
yeah, could you imagine that? Like, some dude who's doing videos and music videos and commercials, and then some dude who goes on to become a huge name, but at the time is just a screenwriter, and they're just like, yeah, you guys work together, figure it out. Here's a truckload of money.
Yeah,
go for it.
I don't know.
All the characters, like, everybody in the movie is really good too. And the chemistry is really good for everybody. Like,
the characters are amazing. Like the dialogue and the little moments between all the characters. That's when the script took notice with me, and I was like, "Well, who the fuck's the writer of this movie?" Like,
because it
now
feels like
I want to know who the writer was too.
it feels real. Like I said, like with CJ, right at the beginning, you're like, "Fuck you, you piece of shit." But through the course of the movie, you're just like, "Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, I understand." And he's really like working with him and holding his own and like trying to make sure nobody dies. You know, because I think it went from being like, it'll blow over to being like, okay, this is it. Like, this is do or die.
Yeah.
You know, so and that's the other thing too that you saw, which was missing in Army of the Dead, is almost every character has some sort of an arc to them. You know, you've got I knew I should have thrown this away. So you've got you got Michael Shaughnessy, the salesman.
Yep.
Goes from being like failed at marriage, a relatively good dad, can bounce around to jobs, to actually stepping up and being like a fucking leader to these zombie killers, you know, and he's flanked by a cop.
Yeah.
You know, a fucking cop who looks like Ving Rhames. I don't know if that's a big deal in their world, but that's a big deal in my world.
Yeah.
You know, anybody that looks like Ving Rhames, I'm like, I'm gonna listen to that guy. His arms are as big as two of my heads together. But so he steps up. Ty Burrell is one of the few that doesn't have an arc, but he gets what's coming to him.
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah, like most of the main ones have like an arc to it, which is surprising that many people have arcs in it. Whereas Army of the Dead, the only arc was really Scott and his daughter.
Really? Yeah. I mean,
that was it. It was literally just
mentioned with the other characters, but you don't really dive into it.
Well, they kind of do with Maria too, where she's just like, "Don't you get it? I wasn't here for the money. I was here for you."
Yeah.
And then of course that was immediately I was like, "You're next. You're totally gonna die.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna die in front of him, and it's gonna be here it is. Here it is. Okay, all right."
But that death through, I was like, "Holy fuck!"
It's weird because the zombie's breaking her neck.
Just why? Like, wow. And then she's like looking at him,
looking right at him. I was like, "That's a horrible way to kill somebody." But for a zombie, like it made no sense. But it was still, it looked cool. But it was just like, don't think about it too much, Chris. Otherwise, But yeah, so the progression of the movie, when they start making the connection to the zombie bites, to finally just saying like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Then it starts to ramp up, and now we get into like frantic action movie scenario.
Yes.
But everything builds up to this, and every step of the way makes sense. It's not just like none of it. Everything makes sense, and nothing is thrown away.
Right.
There's nothing there in the movie that's there just to look cool. It just looks cool, and it serves a purpose.
Everything served a purpose. I was just, and Sarah Polley is so good in this, because I mean, she had done a little bit of Hollywood stuff, but for the most part, she was always indie. So like to see her in a movie like this,
I was like, "Oh my God, this is awesome!" And I hadn't seen her since like Anna Green Gables, so I knew who she was because she had a distinct look, and I knew she was. But like when you're a kid, you don't really make connections like, "Oh, you're a good actor and you're a good actress," or this or that. You just go, "Oh, I like her," or "I like this show," and that's it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So now when you see her, you're like, she is really good. Really good. And then of course in Splice, you're just like, fuck, why can't you be in more movies? You're so good.
I know. I wish she was in more. Like, I don't think she's been in any. I don't think I've seen her in anything since Splice. I'm sure she has, but it must have been. There
was one other movie after Splice, but she also does a lot of directing. And,
I'm going to look at her
writing as well.
Yeah, I'm going to look at what she's been doing right now. Let's see here.
I always find it funny. Like, there's two types of people when they're searching on the net for actors. There's people that use IMDb, and then there's guys like me who use Wikipedia.
Wikipedia, yeah. You know what? She did a movie called Trigger in 2010, right after Splice.
Yep.
She hasn't done a thing since.
And that's it. That's right. Yeah. But most of it is like direct. She does directorial stuff, and she writes. She's written stuff too. She's written some
TV shows.
Yeah.
Over the last
I think
10
the
years.
last bit of work has been like around 2017, 2018.
Wow.
I know.
Like, I mean, good for her. She's clearly enjoying life, but disappointing as a fan because I want to see her again.
Yeah, she's so good, like so good. Um, I will say that I know I said like at the beginning, there's really only like two links to these movies aside from the spiritual successor aspect, and that it's like of the Dead and it's Zack Snyder. But the other thing is that they're both really downer endings. Dawn of the Dead has one of the most downer endings I've seen in such a long time. I remember the first time I saw that and they got to the island and I was like, man, what a great spot. A fucking wait, they're on the island? Oh fuck. And the whole end sequence is them just getting eaten by the fucking zombies. I was like, fuck. That was like probably one of the first times I got like a colossal gut punch from watching a movie where you're just like, oh fuck.
Everyone's dead. Everyone's dead.
Why? You know, because like the only reason why this is worse than Army of the Dead is because Army of the Dead led into a sequel. This one, as far as we know, there's no hope of a sequel. Not at all. I mean, yeah, we got one in Land of the Dead, although I agree it should have been Day of the Dead. Like originally.
I mean, Land of the Dead was not a sequel to this. It was a sequel because that was Romero. It was a sequel to his series.
Yeah.
They made a Day of the Dead remake like 3 or 4 years after this, which funny enough stars Ving Rhames again as a different character.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's not connected to this movie at all. It's so weird.
That is weird. But then again, I think what it is that the Of the Dead is synonymous with George Romero.
Yeah.
So if you use Of the Dead, most people will go, oh, another George Romero zombie flick. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what part they're remaking, you know, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and even like Land of the Dead too. Like we thought it was a direct sequel to this, but it kind of wasn't. Kind of was, but wasn't. But it wasn't made by anyone that had anything to do with this movie.
No, and that's like it was so just like
wasn't Leguizamo in it too?
Yep, and Dennis Hopper. It was a Super Mario
That's
reunion.
Right. Oh my god, could you imagine that, eh?
Yeah.
Too bad Bob Hoskins wasn't in it.
I know, it would have been perfect.
He was smart. He's like, I already in one shite movie. I'm not being in another one.
Yeah.
Done. I gotta keep my acting chops steady for Undefeated. Is that what no, Unleashed. That's what it was. Unleashed.
Oh man. Yes. Oh, I haven't watched that in so long. Ah, that is such a good movie.
I think it's been I want to say about 4 or 5 years since I've seen it.
Danny the dog.
Although it's been probably about a year since I've seen some of the clips on YouTube. Some of those fight scenes, fuck. So anyway. Long story short, Dawn of the Dead, so good. Like again, like I said, for a first movie directing, this is like right out of the gates incredible.
Yeah.
I would never have charted his career to where it is now, but I would have been like, yeah, this guy, like, he's definitely one to watch. So then when I heard like Zack Snyder and 300, it was like, okay, all right. And then you watch it and you're like, God damn it, this is incredible.
Yeah, when they said visionary, from the visionary director of Dawn of the Dead, I think that's what they said when they were advertising 300.
That's exactly it.
And they showed shots of 300. I was just like, that is like something I've never seen before. It was close to Sin City, but totally different at the same time.
It definitely exactly. It had the same kind of idea where they would look at like taking it from the pages, but it wasn't like carbon copy prints. In fact, it was almost like they were making, remember like when early superhero comics would have like, they would actually be animated panels.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of what it was, like a big budget version of that where you're just like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. Like I still think Sin City is a great movie. I like Sin City. I think it looks amazing. But like it's nothing compared to 300. 300 is a better movie, period.
300 is just a masterpiece. Like,
oh, it's so good. And then like The Watchmen, everything that he did with The Watchmen like is crazy between the Watchmen movie, between the Black Sails cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
you know, between the newscast excerpts and everything. Like it's just they went all out for that movie.
That's what he followed with 300, right? Was Watchmen?
Yeah, I believe it was Watchmen. Or was it Sucker Punch and then Watchmen?
No, I think Sucker Punch came after, and he had Legend of the Guardians in there too. That cartoon he did.
Oh yes, that's right. You know what? I think that's one of the few Snyder movies I haven't seen actually.
Yeah,
Because I know I haven't seen it.
Watchmen was after 300, and then after Watchmen, he did Legend of the Guardians, which is a really good movie.
Yeah, eh?
Yeah,
that's the one with the owls, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, and then after that, was
I didn't know he directed that actually.
Yep. Which I thought was crazy. I was like,
yeah,
he directed.
What a weird pick. It's almost like he would actually be not a bad guy to do a live action Secret of Nim.
He really would. I mean, he goes all over the place. Like to follow like a PG rated cartoon after doing 3 of like the most brutal movies of the early 2000s.
Yeah, no kidding. And then he follows up with like glorified sexcapade with Sucker Punch.
Yep.
And what's after Sucker Punch? Is it Man of Steel?
Yeah, then he gets into DC. Yep.
Hilarious. Well, he was already into DC with Watchmen.
Yes.
But it's hilarious that like the movie that precedes Man of Steel is Sucker Punch. Because I watch Sucker Punch and I don't literally go, yeah, this guy could do Superman. And not that like Man of Steel is perfect, and I'm not going to retroactively say like Zack Snyder should be on a Superman sequel or anything like that. Because I know like when we were watching Justice League, the Snyder cut, and at first I was like, yeah, he should. By the end, I was like, nah, he shouldn't. Yeah. What am I thinking, Chris? Don't buy into the hype. He doesn't really get Superman.
Know who I always wanted to do a Superman
if he
movie?
Shot the movie, if he was the cinematographer, I'd be all over it.
Yeah. Oh, I see a Titan face. Look at that handsome boy. Oh, he's so good. He's just sitting there.
I know. Well, he's also getting pet too.
Yeah.
Don't worry, buddy. I'm almost done. Okay, go lay down. Go lay down.
Yeah, I always wanted to see Kerry Conran do a Superman movie. Who was
Kerry Conrad,
the director of Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow?
Yes. Oh,
I always thought like a 40s style Superman movie done the way Sky Captain was done would be amazing.
Yeah, actually, that would be. Oh, I knew it. Penny.
It's Chris.
Hey, Penny.
It's Chris. It's right there.
She hears it, but she's like, I don't know what to do.
Where is he? Where's Chris?
Penny. Hey.
There he is.
Hey, you. She wants me there. That's all it is.
Oh yeah, yeah. Why aren't you here?
Yeah.
All right, I'll put you down.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about Army of the Dead. We talked about Dawn of the Dead. We talked about a whole bunch of other things. I keep saying this, but very few people do this. I'm curious. Aside from the scammers that are looking for money for sex or whatever the fuck they want to do, I want to hear your thoughts. What did you like about Army of the Dead? What didn't you like? Did you like it at all? Did you hate it? Did you like Dawn of the Dead? If you haven't, should you see it? Yeah, you should see it. Yeah, when you do see it, come back and fucking message us. Let us know.
Yeah.
I might respond as C.R. Mercier, but that's still me. That's part of the Geek Pants umbrella. But let us know. Thumbs up if you like this. That's what YouTubers say, right? Thumbs up if you like this.
Thumbs up,
down
subscribe.
if you don't like it.
Hit that notification bell.
Yeah, hit the bell. Share.
Follow.
I try not to say this stuff because I feel like it's bagging. But all jokes aside, thank you so much again for joining us. Thank you for listening to our thoughts and our lame jokes and sitting through COVID hair, which, believe me, I can't wait to get this cut. As always, you can see us on YouTube. You can see us on or you can hear us on SoundCloud. You can see us on Twitter. You can see us on Facebook. You can see us on Instagram. You can hear us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and as always, you can see some of us more than others on the geekpantsmedia.com.
Yep.
You can definitely see Chris Fennick more often there than anything else. There's board off videos. Check out the board off videos. Those are always fun too. And because if you watch more of them, Kenneth might actually release more of them.
I'm sitting on
I'm
a
not
few.
winking. I'm not winking
few.
because it's not bullshit. I'm actually saying you should do it because they are a lot of fun. And
I have my first vaccine.
It's a different Geek Pants foray for us. I got my second one coming up on the 23rd. So
nice. So maybe we can finally get back to some board off and you and I sitting in the same freaking room again.
Well, the second that we're both vaccinated is 100% back into into the sweat tank.
Sweat tank. Welcome.
Yeah. Yep. It'll be weird putting on pants just to do a Camcast though, instead of wearing sweats. I probably will just wear the sweats. Like, I mean, who am I trying to impress, really? But yeah, all jokes aside, Geek Pantsers, we really appreciate it. We love that you guys are with us for this, and we love that you guys are subscribing like crazy too. Like,
yeah, holy shit, man, we're up to 209 now.
I know, like. Do you subscribe so we do less videos?
What's going on? Like, we're up to 209, but we're still only getting like 22 to 30 views a bit. Come on, peeps. Where's the other like 200 people? Are you guys not viewing?
You know what? At this point, I'll take what we can get because eventually we'll have so many subscribers that YouTube will go, we have to pay them. So,
yeah, it's kind of reverse psychology, right? The less content, the more subscribers.
They might have felt smothered.
They might have.
Yes,
they just may have. Yes.
Yeah. Tune in to us in about 2 weeks when we do Invincible.
That's the plan.
It might change. But we'll do Invincible because I really do want to do Invincible. I thought that was a great show.
Yeah. They
did some really cool changes with it. Plus the art style is amazing. So I really want to talk about that. We will talk about Black Widow. We'll talk about Loki because I haven't watched that yet, but
that's right. That's on already. Holy man.
Yeah, Wednesdays, which is a weird weird day for it, but
yeah.
I'm probably going to watch it on Fridays, and that's that.
I'll still watch it on the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. But
more days I have to avoid like comic book sites now.
We got Loki. We've got Shang-Chi. You know, we've got a bunch of movies coming up.
Yeah, we got a whole list. We got A Quiet Place Part 2 if we ever get it in Canada.
Yeah, I know. Like, what?
Or at least in Thunder Bay. I don't know what's happening outside of the world of Ontario. Maybe other people have it.
And plus we've got older movies that we'll talk about, and then of course we're getting into December, so there'll be some Christmas episodes, but mostly it'll be devoted to Spider-Man 3, No Way Home. I think that's what it's called today.
Yeah, No Way Home. That's what it's called now.
In parentheses, Spider-Verse 2, where everybody's in this movie. I feel bad for the people that were in a Spider-Man movie and they're not in this movie.
Yeah.
That's how you know. That's how you know. Like your career is the shits. Like Betty Brant from the Raimi movies. She's not doing much now. I mean, she could be in this movie, right?
That'd be great.
It would actually be great. She's a great actress. I like her.
Yeah.
So anyway, Geek Pantsers, thank you so much. I guess the only thing I have to say is just keep on keeping on, And
we'll see you in a hot minute.